All right, hi guys. All right, let's just get into the analysis for this week as well. So, continuing this week, Euro USD still bearish, heavily bearish on the daily time frame. Now, last week our expectation was, to take out this low, which we have done. We've seen that right now. And so, what are we expecting? Ideally, we are still expecting a continuation of price to the downside. Okay. Now our final targets that we are anticipating is down here. All right, so when price finally gets here, then we can start to see that maybe it's overextended or something as such. But even here, even as we are here, this ideally it's also a liquidity zone, and then we could start to see a pullback. This fair value gap over here did not get mitigated during this rally to the downside, and so we could see price pull back to this zone before continuing downwards. However, we always want to deal with what is immediate. So what do we see that is immediate? This fair value gap right here got mitigated, and then we had a strong push to the downside. So if we take a look at the 4-hour chart, what do we see? We can see that price is bearish. We've had this break of structure, we've had this zone right here. Okay, now we should be around the 50% of this zone. In fact, we are actually overextended, so we are inside this zone right now. You can see price reacting to this wick right here. And so what happens when this wick gets mitigated? We see a strong bearish close that engulfs this candle right here. Alright, so this is kind of an order block that you could expect price to come to and then trail downwards, targeting these lows, and these lows. Alright, but you need a little bit of nuance to it, because you can see right up until this point price is respecting bullish order blocks. So what are we waiting to see? So bullish order block gets tapped in, moves. Bullish order block gets tapped in, moves. Now the final bullish order block we are seeing over here is this fair value gap. Now price closed inside this fair value gap on the weekend. All right, so what are we waiting for? We are waiting for a failure of this fair value gap, which could come in many ways. We could close, we could retrace here, and then break another structure before going down. But what you need to keep in mind is you should expect a reaction and not maybe just a continuation instantly. Anything could happen. We always want to react to what we are seeing, and what we are seeing right now is that we are expecting a reaction first before a continuation. All right, so Euro USD is still heavily bearish, even on the 1-hour chart. Now on the 1-hour chart, you can kind of see that we have already switched bearish. So this close right here kind of already confirms to us that the 1-hour chart has switched bearish. There was a breaker block here that kind of got respected. You can see that. And so yes, we are bearish, but we still want to see some kind of reaction before we continue. GBPUSD, we should be expecting a similar price action. All right, so GBPUSD, we are bearish. Price closed here inside the mitigation of a bearish order block. All right, if we come down to the 4-hour chart, now you can see that we are still kind of bearish over here. So price generally overall has a bearish direction. You can even tell from this mitigation of this fair value gap that drove price down to break the structure. All right, however, on the immediate time frame, price is kind of switching bullish. So we had this order block right here, got engulfed with this candle, it got swept, got respected. We have another order block right here, which also got respected. we have another order block here where price closed. So price closed inside a bullish order block, all right, but we can see the sweep, how the highs keep getting swept. All right, just take a look at this. It's almost as if we are struggling to close. So this high sweeps this high, this high sweeps this high, this high sweeps this high. We have a 3 bearish continuation candle. So we could see how the bullish momentum is losing fuel. The bearish momentum is starting to pick up. So yes, we could see a continuation to the downside, but we don't hesitate. All right, we closed inside the bullish order block, so we would expect a reaction for a continuation to the downside. Ultimately, the 1 hour is also confirming what we are saying. So we had this sweep right here, we had this sweep, and then we had this strong engulfing candle. This strong engulfing candle created a small order block, all right, that retraced into it, and then we just saw bearish candles continuing to the downside. So we're gonna expect a reaction and then a continuation to the downside. That is mainly it for EURUSD and GBPUSD. Catch you on the next trade.